Good morning. We're going to talk today about how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. We've already done a video on using the quadratic formula, and there are some other methods, but this is all we're going to cover in Algebra 1. And so I'm going to just do a little review. Quadratic equations are ones that have an x squared term. They do not, like the y term is just a y. It's not y squared. So as long as it has x squared and no other variable, or a y equals x squared, that would be okay. Quadratic equations draw parabolas. Parabolas look like U's, but they can be turned in any direction. So each of these is a parabola. And so if you think about how that would look on a graph, that will give you how many solutions you would have. If the parabola kind of hits the graph like this, and I'm talking about the x-intercepts, it has two solutions. All right, so 2 x-intercepts means two solutions. Okay, okay. One solution means it would just touch the x-axis one time. All right, 1 x-intercept, one solution. Okay. And 0 solutions means it would not touch the x-axis at all. So it could be something like that. 0 x-intercepts. So the answers, the solutions are the intercepts, the x-intercepts. All right, so let's look at the steps to solve by factoring. The first thing you want to do is rearrange the equation, if necessary, so that it equals 0. Next, you will factor. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve each mini equation. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you 3 times. All right. Step 1, rearrange the equation if necessary so that it equals 0. Well, look, this one already equals 0. So we're going to move directly to step 2, which is factor. When you factor, you should be asking yourself first, can I take anything out? Is there GCF? Well, there is a GCF in these two terms. The GCF would be 3. That means both terms are divisible by 3. If you factor out a 3, you would be left with x squared, because 3 times x squared is 3x squared. And 3 times negative 12 is negative 4. Okay? And that equals 0. Now, I've done this many times, and so as soon as I see this, I recognize this is a special case of factoring. I know that this is going to be 3 times x plus 2, x minus 2. I will also show you how that works using the methods that we've done in our algebra class. So, if you don't care right now, you could pause the video or fast forward, but I'm going to show you how I got from there. In class, what we did was we said, okay, we're ready to factor. So we would take this and set up the answer. We know we're going to have 3 times something times something. Okay, we're going to make a box. And a t-chart. Okay, instead of having x squared minus 4, we're actually missing a term. So I'm going to fill it in. X squared plus 0x minus 4. When we fill in the t-chart, we know x squared is going to go here and negative 4 is going to go there. And then what we did was we multiplied the coefficient of the first term times the last term. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And we know that the factors need to add up to the middle term, 0. So we're going to say, okay, well, negative 4 could be negative 1 times 4. It could be negative 2 times 2. It could be 1 times negative 4, and the opposite. Those are our only options. So now we need to say which one of these pairs will add up to 0. Well, negative 1 plus 4 is 3, so that won't work. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Hey, that works. So we're going to put into these negative 2x and positive 2x. Then you might remember from class that we had to find the GCF of each row. So what is the GCF of these two terms? X. They can both be divided by x. What is the GCF of these two terms? 2. You could divide them both by 2. What is the GCF of these two terms? X. And what is the GCF of these? -2. We're choosing -2 because the top one is negative. So 3 times x plus 2, x minus 2. All right? So that's how you do it if you didn't already know the shortcut of the difference of two squares. Okay? I'm going to move that now and start back here. So now we have this problem completely factored. And what we're going to do is set each factor equal to 0. The 3, we cross it off. The reason for that is because we could divide this entire side by 3 and divide this entire side by 3. And 0 divided by 3 equals 3. Equals 0. And so it doesn't really make a difference in the end. So we're going to set each factor equal to 0. All right. And do you see how now you have two small equations? These are simple to solve. Draw your little lines and solve. We have to subtract 2 from both sides in this one. So x equals -2. And we have to add 2 to both sides in that one. So x equals 2. So our solutions are -2, 2. Now, as far as Algebra 1 is concerned, I'm going to show you kind of what this will look like, but then I'm going to show you on Desmos, just so you can get a feel. This means that this is a U shape, a parabola, that crosses the x-axis at -2 and at +2. Now, at this point, we don't know how long it is, how low it is, but I'm just going to draw something like this. Okay? That is generally representative of this graph. Now, I will show you in Desmos, if you type in 3x squared minus 12, it will show you that the two x-intercepts are -2 and 2. All right, do you see how that all ties together? Let's do another. All right, step 1. Rearrange the problem, the equation, so that it equals 0. This one is not already equal to 0, it's equal to 12. So we're going to use equation solving strategies to get this 12 off of this side. 12 minus 12 equals 0. So we will subtract 12 from both sides. On this side, it cancels and equals 0. On this side, the only part I can combine it with is the 3, because these are constant terms and they don't have a variable. They have like terms. All right? 3 minus 12 is -9. And we're going to rewrite the other stuff in front. All right, we have finished step 1. Step 2, factor. All right, first question, is there a GCF? Can I divide everything by 2? No. Can I divide everything by 7? No. All right, nothing works. There's no GCF. If you need help finding a GCF of 3 terms, please go back to the GCF video and watch the extended version. All right, now we need to use our other strategy. So we're going to set up our answer. Oops. We are going to set up our box and our t-chart. Okay, in the box, we're going to put 2x squared and -9. In the t-chart, we're going to multiply. 2 times -9 is -18. And they need to add up to the middle, 7. All right, let's go ahead and list the factors of 18. We have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Are there any others? No. Okay, so these are the factors, all positive though, and our answer is negative. So we need to think about which factor might need to be negative, the positive one or the negative, or the little one or the big one. I always look at it that way and say, well, for this to be negative, it's got to be the bigger one. So I'm going to put a negative with each of those. Now we want to figure out which one adds up to 7. 1 plus negative 18 is negative 17. That won't work. 2 plus negative 9 is negative 7. Woohoo! That's the one. And just to check, 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3. That does not work. So we're going to take these numbers, 2 and negative 9, and we're going to put them, 2x, negative 9x, into our box. Now we will take out the GCF for each row. 2x squared and 2x. The GCF, 2x. Negative 9x and negative 9. You could divide them both by negative 9, so negative 9 is the GCF. 2x squared and negative 9x. You can't divide them both by 2 or 9, but they both have at least one x, so x would be the GCF. 2x and negative 9, they are not divisible by anything the same, and so the GCF would just be 1. Now we're going to write the answer. 2x minus 9, x plus 1. Okay, and just in case you're a little confused, I'm going to highlight x plus 1 right there, and 2x minus 9 there. All right, and remember, this was an equation to begin with. So we're going to put our equals 0 back, and step 3. Set each factor equal to 0. 2x minus 9 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0. Now you will solve each mini equation. So first, we need to add 9 to both sides. If you're struggling with solving equations, go back to the solving equations video. Now we have 2 times x, so we're going to divide by 2. This cancels, so x equals 9 over 2. This is actually a great way to put the answer. We like improper fractions simplified in algebra. You could put it in decimal form so you can understand that that would be 4.5. Those are the same. Please ignore my dogs barking. All right. X plus 1 equals 0. We will subtract 1 from both sides. Okay. So the solutions to this quadratic equation are 9 over 2 and negative 1. That's what x equals. Okay. Now, just for the record, I want to show you, if you were going to draw this graph yourself, you would have an x-intercept at negative 1 and an x-intercept at 9 over 2, which is 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. And your equation would look, or your parabola would look something like that. All right. And I'm going to pull that up on Desmos so you can see 2x squared plus 7x. You could even put plus 3 equals 12 if you want to look at it that way. And if we touch our solutions, there they are. All right. All right, let's move to the next one. Okay. This one. We are going to rearrange the equation if necessary so it equals 0. Well, it already equals 0, so we're okay. Next, we are going to factor. So, factor, we want to set up our answer. Draw the box. And the t-chart. All right. In the box, 4x squared and 1. In the t-chart, 4 times 1 is 4. And the 5 goes there from that middle term. The factors of 4, 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Which pair of these will add up to 5? 1 plus 4 equals 5. That's the one. Okay, we're going to take this 1 and do 1x, 4, 4x. All right, we are going to find the GCF. Let me change color for that. The GCF of the top row is x. The GCF of the bottom row, 1. The GCF of this column, 4x. And the GCF of this, 1. At any point, if you need longer to look at those steps, pause the video and look and see if you can think about what they are. If you're having trouble with this, please go watch the factoring video. All right, next we're going to take our answers. There's one. So this is 4x plus 1. And this one, x plus 1. All right, next, set each factor equal to 0. 4x plus 1 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0. Solve. Divide by 4. X equals negative 1/4. Again, x equals negative 1. So our x-intercepts, our solutions, are negative 1/4 and negative 1. Okay? And that is the answer. So if you looked at it on a graph, you would have an x-intercept at negative 1 and one at negative 1/4. So it would be a tiny, skinny little parabola. All right. If you think you get it, great. If not, the best thing to do is to practice. This is one of the hardest topics in Algebra 1. It gets easier kind of when you go to Algebra 2. You can see right here our graph on Desmos, and there are the answers. All right. Now I'm going to pause. You can stop the video right here if you're satisfied. If you're not, you may have noticed my hesitation here with this problem, because when I typed in the equation into Desmos, the answer was the opposite of mine. So I'm just going to take a moment to type that in now, just in case any of you were kind of confused. I have to say I'm a little confused, so I need to look and see back at my answer. So I'm going to redo that one. You're welcome to stop the video if you want and be happy. Or you can keep going, and watch me fix it. So let me look and see where I made a mistake. All right, so first we need to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. 2x squared plus 7x minus 9 equals 0. There is no GCF, so we're going to move straight into setting up our answer. Setting up our box and our t-chart. In the box, we put the first term, 2x squared, and the last term, negative 9. In these, we have to figure out. So we're going to multiply 2 times negative 9. That's negative 18. And 7, positive 7, goes in the middle. All right. Factors of 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. We want the ones that add up to positive 7. Oh, there's where my mistake was. This is positive 7. So we need negative 2 and 9. Okay, that's where I messed up. I see it now. So negative 2x would go here from here. 9x would go there. All right. Now, GCF. Both of these are divisible by 2x. GCF, 9. GCF, x. GCF, negative 2. Or no, negative x. Because this is negative. So we make it negative. Ooh, What am I doing? Okay, 1. There you go. All right, so we take our factors, x minus 1, 2x plus 9, and we put them in here. Draw our line and set each factor equal to 0. Solve. For me, it's easier to redo the whole problem than troubleshoot inside my own the first time, because I often will miss stuff. So you can see here the solution is -9/2 and +1. That does match the graph that we got on Desmos right there. So you can see that I made a mistake in that first problem. I'm okay with making that mistake because it made me go back and check my answer. That's one of the best things about Desmos, is you can use it to check your answers. So with my dog barking in the background, I'm going to go, and I hope you have a great day.